OK, I just want to take you live to the Vatican, where Pope Francis has made a public appearance after 2 weeks after being discharged from hospital. Of course, he was in hospital for some 8 weeks, being treated for double pneumonia. He appeared at St. Peter's Square in a wheelchair and greeted the crowds there. The Pope, of course, who had been treated in Rome's Gemelli hospital for a number of weeks, having been admitted and then found to have double pneumonia. Of course, the pontiff, who is 88, had had operation on his lung when very young and was quite seriously ill at many points during his time in hospital, has now appeared today, on Sunday, in St. Peter's Square for the first time to greet crowds. It was 5 weeks that he spent in hospital, the Pope being treated for that double pneumonia. At each point, was desperate to try and return to his public duties. It's a very important year for Roman Catholics all over the world. It's the Jubilee year, and the Pope very, very keen to be a part of that moment for the billions of Catholics all around the world. Well, these are live pictures from Rome. You can see there Polish flags being waved as pilgrims have arrived in Rome and in the Vatican City from all over the world to mark the Jubilee. The Pope, who spent 5 weeks, more than 5 weeks in hospital recently. He was finally released from hospital on the 23rd of March, where he gave very, very brief comments to the crowd as he left. Let's just show you the very latest picture of the Pope appearing before pilgrims in the Vatican. And there we see Pope Francis rolling down that short ramp there. He is a man who will very, very much want to be seen by the faithful in a year like this, as I say, the Jubilee year, but also, of course, because the Pope has been unwell for some time, had been treated in hospital for double pneumonia, was in the care of hospital staff for 5 long weeks while Catholics awaited news of his condition, and hoped, of course, prayed that the Pope would be released from hospital, freed from hospital, and able to continue some of his duties in what is a hugely important year for members of the Catholic faith. Well, these are the first moments that he has appeared before the faithful in the Vatican. We saw him briefly when he left hospital as he drove back to the Vatican in a white Fiat, his small Pope-mobile. But now, as we can see, greeting the crowds there in the wheelchair, Pope Francis, the 88-year-old pontiff, making his first proper public appearance. 5 weeks, 6 weeks now, longer since being released from hospital, where he had been treated for double pneumonia. Now, it is the Jubilee year for Catholics, so a very important year where pilgrims from all over the world have been travelling to Rome and to the Vatican City to spend time among the faithful, to spend time among Catholics as they mark this huge moment. And Pope Francis, who had been in hospital for many weeks up to this point, was keen to be released from hospital so he could take part in this moment of reflection for the Catholic faith, the Jubilee year, which is a very important moment for all Catholics around the world. Now, the Pope, who was admitted to hospital some 6 or so weeks ago, against what he would have wanted to do, was on the advice of doctors. He had decided to appear before the faithful on a very cold February day, and it was only days after that when he was then admitted to hospital. Tests were run and it was found that he had double pneumonia, a very serious condition for a man of his age. He, of course, is 88 now. Pope Francis, who in his young years had an operation on his lung, having a lung removed, so a very, very serious thing for him to be admitted to hospital for is on the 14th of February, where he was admitted for bronchitis, treatment for bronchitis, but it was then found that he had double pneumonia in both the lungs that he had, and there was much concern that he may well have to step down or may not be able to continue with his duties. Thankfully for the Pope and for the Catholics all over the world, he was released from hospital on the 23rd of March. He, leaving the Gemelli hospital, gave some very brief remarks, covering it from here. On the day, the Pope appeared at the window of his hospital room, had spotted a lady in the crowd carrying flowers, waved to her, pumped his fist and said thank you very much for coming, and that he liked the flowers. He was then whisked off. There was a slow-motion convoy as he travelled back to his apartments at the Vatican, where he has been for the last week or so. That was back on the 23rd of March. Last couple of weeks there, as he has been recovering with doctors. That period of convalescence, of course, very important to the Pope, who has had that treatment for double pneumonia. But now, his first public appearance this day, on Sunday, in bright sunshine at the Vatican, greeting pilgrims who have travelled from all over the world to be part of this Jubilee year. We'll have more, of course, on this and the rest of the day's news in the next hour of the programme.